Hello there. Now I've got a good one for you today, because after a hard day slogging all over London filming yesterday's pro-Palestine march, a video I'll bring you later, after the march I attended a pre-planned dinner event with a couple of guest speakers. And you will instantly recognise one of them, and, as you would imagine, he had a lot to say about the current situation we face. Also bear in mind the news of the developing attack by Iran on Israel was only just beginning to filter through to us. So sit back and enjoy.
Kiss would be nice.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. It's great to be here at a dinner with Reform UK. Sorry, wrong part. That's my speech for later on. Next dinner.
I'll just show the wrong
Next dinner. So, obviously, as you try to introduce, half the political spectrum call me a son of a refugee. The other half call me a son of a bitch, but it's fine. Each to their own. I actually came here on British Airways, business class, straight from Tehran. My mother was a like special case, not in that way, but she was an accidental traditional refugee. She was actually walking in Tehran, coming from shopping, carrying 2 shopping bags, and the morality police stopped her because it was windy and her headscarf went back. They tried to arrest her. The last thing you do in that situation is you run away because you escalated. So she ran away. Mostly because, in her defense, most of the time the morality police would take you and rape you. So that's why she didn't want to be raped on that day. So she wasn't in the mood. So essentially, she ran and she essentially found accidentally the first door and building to run into happened to be the British Embassy. And in a very rare situation, they decided to help her, keep her there for a while and then get her out. When she came here, after a while, I was able to join her because I was a kid. But one thing she taught me from the beginning, actually even when we were in Iran, she always said, because she was very much obsessed with Victoria and Albert and all those stories, she was always saying, we were the Brits who were born somewhere else. Never knew what she meant. Now I know. Mostly because apart from the fact that there are for some reason similarities between the Anglo-Saxon mentality and the Persian culture. The Brits don't want to be called Europeans, Persians don't want to be called Asians. The Brits hold the door, Iranians hold the door compared to the rest of the Asians. And they both like the Q, sense of humor, similar, sarcasm, but also drinking wine a lot. There is a point about when we got here, she mentioned, always remember that you were welcomed here. You were a guest, and we are a guest. Be grateful, and give something back. If only this mentality existed with the rest of the immigrants and immigration kind of community, would help. So, I am an immigrant, but I think it's time to stop it for now. Put a pause, a little bit, because we have to sort out our own problems first. The fact that I have to stand here and try to defend British values is sad. That it shouldn't be the case. It's the same I say about what I do every day. It shouldn't me doing the media, doing the news. It should be the job of the BBC and Sky. But they're not doing it the right way, so I have to do it. People in this country are not really politically involved when it comes to party politics, as you guys know. It's no longer like the 1950s and 60s where the Tories and Labour had 2-3 million members. So you guys being here, you guys are special. Again, in a good way. But we have to take it from here. Regardless of which party, unless you're talking about the Green Party and all those nutters, involvement helps. Activity helps. And I think even for people who are politically already active, including you guys, I think it's still important to kind of do a bit of a reminder. People would call it an echo chamber, it's not. It's just a wake-up call for all of us to keep hearing the same things. When I'm saying that this country needs to be defended, you might all agree, say yeah. But it's kind of important for all of us every now and then to hear, for example, someone like me, my perspective, not just, I don't know, Tommy Robinson's, for example, or Jeff Taylor. I don't know why they compared the two, but I don't think he would mind. Because I always say on my channel, don't turn Britain into another Iran. For those who remember, Iran in the 1970s, a liberal secular society, it was coming up, safety, prosperity. And people always say, what happened? Well, of course, Islamic occupation happened. It's happening now here. But people think, well, it can't be the same here because that was by force. But something allowed it to happen, and that was the liberal secular society. It became soft. It became too tolerant and too welcoming and too nice. Didn't see the threat. And we're not seeing the threat. We're still not seeing the threat. We keep having terrorist attacks left, right, and center. We're having schools being infiltrated. We literally had, over the last month, the month of Ramadan, which I used, and I did promote it on my channel, for everybody to eat extra bacon and have extra beer, because to help the British businesses, it's a tough month for them. We had literally schools in this country teaching maths using Ramadan as a scenario and all this like weird stuff. We literally had schools, not just schools, we had government departments, the foreign offices, the Lancaster House, people having the Islamic prayers. We had football stadiums, obviously on our streets and everything like this. The good thing is, 20 years ago, if you guys had said this, there would be a big taboo. You think it's still a taboo now? Actually, it's less. Back then, when UKIP was talking about immigration, oh, that was a complete no-no. Now we are talking about immigration. We're not doing anything about it, but the country is talking about it. Same could be said about 30 years ago. If someone said, let's leave the EU, whoa, but we left the EU. That we could normalize things. If we manage to normalize Marxism and normalize Islamism, I think we might be able to normalize Britishness. And I think if we start here, there's a bit of hope for the next generation, future generations. Because right now, it's a little bit doom and gloomy. Mostly because, whether you like it or not, Anglo-Saxons are not having enough babies. And there's one culture that is having a lot of babies. And that's how country changes. And people would say, whoa, you talk about skin color. Nothing to do with skin color. It's just a correlation. It's the values. You move away from the basic Christian values, which was the foundation of England. This happens. Do not turn Britain into another Iran. And right now, as we speak tonight, and that's why I had to make the speech early, because I'm going to have to quickly go outside, do a quick live stream on YouTube, because Iran has officially hit Israel over the last few minutes with their drones directly. And people would say, well, why should we even care about what's going on there? You might have said that about 200 years ago, probably. The enemy is here. This is our fight as well. And it doesn't mean we have to give aid to Israel. They don't even need aid. But they're fighting our fight anyway. First they will come for Jerusalem, then Tel Aviv, then Vatican. Next is mainland Europe and Christianity. See what happened in Nigeria every Christmas. It's coming here. The enemy is already here and is here to harm us. So what's happening tonight does affect us. We do live in a globalized world. We're not globalists. But we do accept that we live in a globalized world. So, while we're having a nice dinner, try to stay focused on the actual fight. Thank you.